The shift is increasing so fast that Earth's north magnetic pole is now shifting 34 miles per year. That's almost 3 miles a month, 2.8 miles to be exact. That's almost 500 feet a day. This will continue to increase and speed up, but it's already moving so fast that in about 4 years it will reach its weakest magnetic position. Remember, that means at that point the pole shift is imminent. Brown dwarf system and pole shift, safe locations and unsafe locations, what to expect prior to and during pole shift, and survival bags and alternative routes. I'll put the links to Mark's Patreon posts down below. The poles are shifting. There wouldn't even need to be a brown dwarf for this to occur if we judge it on pole migration alone. Let's say there wasn't a brown dwarf, which there is, but for the sake of this explanation, there wasn't one. Our North Pole migration is moving so rapidly that within 4 years it will reach its weakest magnetic position. This means a pole shift is imminent, regardless of an approaching brown dwarf. Now throw in the brown dwarf, the axis tilt wobble data, the depleting magnetosphere, the fireball increase data, oceanic sea temperature anomalies, the sea ice extreme reduction, the cosmic radiation increase, the tidal anomalies, the sea surface heat temperature increase, the oceanic heat content increase, the atmospheric methane increase, the fish die-offs, the whales, dolphins beaching themselves, and the birds sporadically falling out of the sky, the earthquake increase, the volcanic increase, the extreme weather anomaly increase, the subtropical, polar jet streams intermixing, etc., etc. I think it's safe to say the last 5 years has sped up to the point that we can all categorically agree that the pole shift is happening now. It's no longer gradual, and the second solar wind from under the elliptic plane is easily documented through the magnetopause data. So many factors that people don't correlate. Lots of people just have a best guess, but that's not what we do here. We literally correlate all data sources and study the ancient history that also correlates. It's important to understand that any form of atmospheric compression causes magnetic disruption. Our core gives Earth its magnetic field, so compressions cause plasmic reactions within the core and core flow alternations. Okay, so this leads to all the geological shifting we see as magma increase occurs under the plates and through the magma chambers, and the earthquakes, the sinkholes, the volcanic increase, warmer sea temperatures, coral die-offs, fish die-offs, etc. All geological changes are influenced by the solar system. Charged particles, solar wind stream, cosmic radiation, and outside magnetic influence. It's dangerous to tell people it could be gradual and harmless. It should never be sugar-coated because that would give false hope. We need to be as real about it and help as many people as possible understand that we are literally in the middle of a pole shift as we speak, and the next 5 years are crucial. If we follow the sea ice extent trend, the Arctic will be ice-free in 5 years. Now they will push this Ice Age agenda to misdirect the masses away from the truth, but Earth is heating inside and out. The closer the brown dwarf gets to our inner solar system, the more our core reacts. The more our axis tilt wobble fluctuates, and the more our magnetosphere depletes. The more cosmic waves, radiation we see, and the more magnetic disturbances we see. Okay, so telltale signs of the pole shift. 6+ earthquakes in the Atlantic Ridge, if Japan splits and one part goes under, if Australia's west coast subsides, if nuclear war breaks out, if the internet shuts down, or if the power in general shuts down, if the sun rises in the west, and if aliens are announced to have been found publicly. If any of the above starts to happen, 2 weeks to get the hell out of the cities and get to safe locations. This is where our 2-week warning comes in. Things might take a couple of months to take effect, but you need to stay in the safe location from that 2-week warning. Now the pole shift and what to expect. This right here is 14 years worth of deep study. Now this is Mark Elkin. Remember, his 14 years of deep study. He's been doing this for a very long time. Great information, great data. Okay. He says, that means the oceans will slosh, causing worldwide coastal 500-foot plus tidal surges, with it reaching 1,200 to 1,500 feet above sea level due to tidal bore. They have been building sea defense systems since I was a child worldwide because they knew these days were coming, he says. The build up close to and in the hour of the shift. The wind will exceed 200 miles per hour. There will be fast-moving cyclones, hurricanes. There will be sudden plasma storms, ice storms. You've seen the film Day After Tomorrow or 2012? If you have, then that's the best depiction of the pole shift. Not only that, but we will be getting meteorites raining down on Earth as we will be directly in the debris field of the system. Crustal displacement, this means huge geological changes. Some land will rise up, some land will go underwater, so I'd suggest being on a craton plate if you're near one. So in other words, in the hour of the pole shift, you need to be underground, in a cave at least away from the coastlines and as high as possible. This won't be pretty at all, and I can't sugarcoat this because it needs to be known. They will use war as a disguise for this, hence the news saying Putin has been secretly planting nuclear bombs on the U.S. coasts that will cause a huge tsunami. Those sort of headlines are just a cover. So before war, martial law, look out for big false flags. This is merely a way of gaining more control. Martial law will keep you exactly where they want you to be. And don't be fooled, they have an elite army that's paid for out of the Black Ops funds. You know, like the billions of dollars, pounds that go missing every year without a trace. So don't think for 1 second they care if they lose the standard military. To them, they are expandable and they're there to keep everything going to plan. So if you hear anything about martial law on the news, just know it's close. They have already shipped hundreds of thousands of martial law signs around the world, which is also easily researched. FEMA camps, already pre-built all over the USA, ready and waiting to house the civilians that are left. Don't take my word for it, go do some digging. And yep, that's hard to believe and hard to swallow and hard to comprehend, but remember that this plan has been in the making for a very long time. The elite have underground DUMB cities built in preparation for all of this. Go look that up too. It's all coming together just as we expected it would. This happens every 3,600 years as it makes its way back on its elliptical orbit. No, this isn't a normal cycle. Well, it depends what you class as normal because I suppose it's natural. The last pole shift is why there are cities underwater and why big boats were found in mountains. The plasma discharges in the atmosphere is what the ancients used to draw on the walls. The dragon in Chinese prophecy is the plasma reactions that go from planet to planet as they draw close. The tribulation in the Bible is the crossing. The blue and red Kachina in the Hopi prophecies are Nemesis and Nibiru. The destroyer is what they called it in Hebrew, and the winged sun symbol is what they used in ancient Egypt due to its looking like it has wings from the red iron oxide particles spewing off it as it makes its orbit around Nemesis. The ancient Sumerians called it the red dragon, and ancient Indians called it the winged serpent. Every religion has the same exact story, just interpreted in different ways. They had the same paintings, carvings all over the world without being able to contact each other, and all predate over 3,500 years ago. It's about connecting the dots. The signs in the heavens that's talked about in Revelation is the plasma reactions and fireballs that we are seeing now. The sound of trumpets in the Bible, which is being heard in some parts of the world, is crustal displacement that resonates off the oceans and echoes through the atmosphere, along with the atmosphere being compressed with gamma rays that disrupt our magnetic field lines and cause the same trumpet sound. The huge increase in earthquakes and volcanoes is what's referred in the Bible as, is referred to as birth pangs. All the fish are dying by the thousands, and the birds are dying through magnetic field line disruptions. Land animals are being killed in the thousands before plasma storms. The Hosea prophecy 4:3, or Hosea 4:3. Therefore shall the land mourn, and every one that dwelleth therein shall languish. With the beasts of the field and with the fowls of heaven, yea, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. I've studied the Bible, the Sumerian tablets, the Incas, Mayans, Hopi, and pretty much all over books of knowledge, like the Calabrian Bible, Lost Books of Inky, the Book of Enoch, and it all categorically points to the crossing and all the effects leading up to it. Or categorically. Okay, so these are the worst places and best places to be during and near to the pole shift. Remember, some land will rise, some land will subside. So imagine being in the middle of the Atlantic when the Atlantic Ridge separates. Boats will not be able to deal with that kind of movement. Remember, new faults will occur along the seabeds, and underwater volcanoes will be extremely violent. Worst places: middle of the sea in any kind of boat, by coastal areas, near fault lines, near volcanoes, near rivers, near dams, near nuclear power plants, near cities, near towns. Best places to be: 100 miles from any nuclear power plant, as far inland as possible, nowhere near volcanoes, even dormant ones, at least 1,200 feet above sea level, in a cave on solid foundations, in an underground structure on solid foundations, and that's the basics for the shift. P.S. Don't follow FEMA, don't follow UN, and don't follow the instructions that they give you on mainstream media news when these days come. Get to a scheduled locations and start anew. Okay, this will help those that are struggling with what to have in their survival kits. Survival bag and alternative routes. These are the must-haves and the things that you will need to bring with you, not just for you, but for the whole group also. We will be farming our own foods, purifying our own water, and creating our own energy, so these things are a must-have for everyone to have that wants to survive and thrive together as a whole to build a better community. Seeds. Fruit, herb, and vegetable seeds will play a huge role in keeping our community fed, and a thriving farmland is a thriving community. Must be organic and use the seeds that grow within to regrow your vegetation. Water. Get some pallets of bottled water to the safe locations for the first period of the transition, but hopefully there will be water sources there that you can distill daily for our community's uses. However, make sure you have a couple of bottles in your bag. Also, it's a must to have water purification tablets. They are very cheap to buy and don't take up any room at all, so please invest in them if you haven't already. Also, take as much water as possible in your vehicles when the time comes. Food. You will all need to bring 3 months' worth of food rations for each person you bring to the safe location. It sounds like a lot, but be sensible with the types of food you pack. You want dried vegetables, berries, fruit, cereal bars, energy bars, glucose tablets, multivitamins, rice, and that kind of stuff will be much easier to keep and is easy to buy in bulk. Also, protein powder contains an abundance of nutrition and again is easy to stock up. This is all needed for when we are waiting for our food to grow, and we will also be hunting and fishing daily. Alternative power. We will be creating our own power, but the initial first couple of weeks will be where we are building these systems, so please try to bring batteries, wind-up torch, lanterns, radios. And the radios that especially have the ones with USB built in. Okay, solar panel energy will be ideal for when the sun is out, and there are a variety of portable panel systems that are available. Shelter. Now this is totally your choice on what sort of shelter you want to be in for the first part of the transition. Personally, the pop-up tents are essential for everyone's list as they self-erect themselves, ideal for when we are on foot and the roads are blocked. Of course, if we can access the safe location by vehicle, then you could pack any tent but be prepared for any situation, or any and all situations. This is for pre-shift and post-shift. You'll need to be in an underground strong structure for the shift transition. Now, ham radio handsets. This is a must-have for everyone in the group. Probably one of the most essential parts of your survival equipment. This will be your form of contact with the whole group as you near the safe locations so that you can find your fellow people. You want one handset per person you bring to the safe locations, but one handset per each group will still be better than none. You should set up your own call sign when you have a handset and have a set channel for your community to use. Basic survival equipment. We have done a few videos for people to get a better idea of what we personally have in our bags, but it's your own preference really. Essentially, you need to have fire lighting equipment, compass, maps, survival knife, mini fishing kit, waterproof clothing, basic food rations, water purification tablets, survival books, emergency tent, torch, sleeping bag, body wash, camping saucepans, water storage, and your ham radio handset. Again, if you can get there by car before shit hits the fan, then take as much stuff as you can. All the above is just basic must-haves. Alternative routes. It is up to every individual to get to know every other route possible to get to the safe locations. It's essential to know these routes, guys. I can't stress this enough because we all know the roads will be blocked at some stage, and when martial law is announced, the military will be swiftly ordered to close roads. So familiarize yourself with walking, cycling, cross-country, driving routes, and also if you don't know how to read a compass or a map, then please take 5 minutes to watch a video on how to, because it's very simple and easy to learn. I hope this helps some that are still wondering what to bring and pack. All we're doing here is trying to wake you up and help as many people as possible. Start looking at the geological changes of the earth. We will always give guidance to all those that want it. Remember, knowledge is power, strength and unity. And remember, fear is very useless.